Hey there, this is Jurgen. I'm doing another CGC unboxing. It's a little segment I like to call high grade filler. This time around I sent in 25 Silver and Bronze Age books down to CGC. First I got them cleaned and pressed at Impressive Comics by Gary Kendra. And I'm kind of nervous because these books are a little bit older, and I paid a little bit of money for each of these books, and so I really need some nice grades to justify the expense. And we're dealing with books that span the 10 years from 1965 to 1974. So there's always like the risk that some of these books might have been restored, which is kind of uncomfortable because like I'm pretty good at detecting restoration, but it can be really tough to spot sometimes, even for like people who are really good at it. And as we're going along, I thought we'd play two games. One is Guess the Grade, where the last time I've seen any of these books is in their raw, unpressed, uncleaned form, and I try to predict what the final grade is going to be. And the other is how did I do business-wise? So each one of these books cost about $97 to clean, press, and grade. And so I'll be disclosing how much I paid individually for each of these books, and then we can compare that with the fair market value. And in case you're wondering what methodology I'm using for the fair market value, I'm going to be looking at the transactions for each book over the last calendar year. I think to be kind of more accurate, to reflect the market, it would be best to do the last 90 days, but these books generally don't move very often. So to get at least 10 transactions, we're going to have to go back about 12 months. So let's get started. We'll go from most recent book to oldest, and we'll see what's going on. So the first book is Amazing Spider-Man 139. It's a minor key of a first appearance of a D villain, the Grizzly. I bought this book for $30 online, and this book presents very well. I thought this book was near mint plus, about a 9.6. So let's see how we did. So we're starting strong. This book came back 9.8 white pages. For those of you who might not understand comics the way that I do, this is really rare. 9.8 is functionally perfect. In fact, for this particular comic, there is no grade higher. So this is tied for like the highest possible grade that this comic's ever received. And for fair market value, there's only been one transaction in the last couple of years, and this book changed hands for about 1,500 Canadian. That's the best I can do, like to disclose what I think the fair market value is, but I am super excited with this start. I was not expecting any of these books to come back as 9.8. So this is really, really cool. Let's see. The next book is Amazing Spider-Man 136. I bought off a guy locally in Toronto. I thought this book was good for about a 9.0, and I paid $115 for it, which I thought was pretty fair. It's the first appearance of Green Goblin 2, when Harry Osborn decides to become the Green Goblin. So let's take a look at the book. Very good. 9.4 off-white to white pages. I was not expecting a grade this high. So this is a classic cover, John Romita Sr. And this book, The fair market value is about 500 Canadian. I'm really happy with the way this is starting. The next book is a bit of a key. It's Amazing Spider-Man 135. It's the second full appearance of the Punisher. All early Punisher books have exploded in the last 3 to 5 years. I think this book is good for a 9. I bought this book at a local comic store for $240. I eyeballed it and I was like, this is like a really good deal. So I'm looking for a nice grade here. .2, white pages. This is a nice looking book. I think it's a generous 9.2, but I'm not going to complain. This book, its fair market value is about 750 Canadian. So I think we did all right there. The next book is Amazing Spider-Man 131. I bought this book at the same local comic store. Not at the same time. I go at about twice a month and I just see what they have. Their pricing is wildly inconsistent. Most of the time it's hugely overpriced, but occasionally I spot a good deal. So Amazing Spider-Man 131, it's the famous cover where Aunt May is marrying Dr. Octopus. I thought this book was good for a 9.4. I paid the paltry sum of $24 for it, so let's see how we did. So the book came back 9.6, but unfortunately it came back restored. A minor color touch on cover. This is a highly unusual choice of a book to restore. I'm really surprised and disappointed. That really kind of takes the wind out of my sails. This book, in an unrestored form, is about $400 at 9.6. The rule of thumb is that the fair market value is about 50% of what the unrestored version goes for. So at $200, I'm still like making a little bit of money, but I just honestly would have preferred an unrestored book with a lesser grade. Damn. So the next book is Amazing Spider-Man 126. This was another score from a local comic book store. I thought this book was good for a 9.4. I paid $24 for it. So let's see what we get. .4, white pages. Yeah, very forgettable villain. Not a particularly big book, but this book's from 1973. So 9.4, that age, it's great. Fair market value for this book is about $210. So not bad for a $24 purchase. We're moving on to Amazing Spider-Man 125. It's the origin of the Man-Wolf. This was purchased locally from a collector in London, and I thought this book was good for a 9.2. I paid $100 for it, so let's take a look. .5 and restored, so not great. I've bought a lot of books from this guy, and I've graded them, and This is the first one that's come back restored, so I'm not even sure he knew it was restored. But kind of double shocked because I wasn't expecting a small amount of color touch. Again, an unusual book to restore, but I was also expecting the grade to be significantly higher. So I think I lose money on this book. Fair market value for this book is about $160. If it was unrestored, half of that is $80. So I'm definitely coming out behind with this one. Sucks. The next book is Amazing Spider-Man 123. It's a Luke Cage appearance. It's Gwen Stacy's funeral. Great John Romita senior cover. I bought this book online for $100. I thought this book was good for a 9.4. So let's take a look. Okay, we're back on the right track. This book came back 9.6, off-white to white pages. Great cover. Yeah, 9.6 seems about right for this book. Fair market value for this book in 9.6 is $660. So not too bad. Moving steadily along, we're still in the Bronze Age. This is Amazing Spider-Man 107. This is the year's 1972 when Marvel was doing a portrait cover for all of its titles. I paid $100 for this book from that collector from London. I think this book is good for a 9.4. Let's see what we get. $9.6, off-white to white pages. Great cover. Not a big book, but a classic. I love this cover. Fair market value for this book is about just shy of 500 Canadian. So doing okay. This is from the same batch as that collector from London. This is Amazing Spider-Man 105. I thought this book was good for a 9.4. I paid $57 for it. I thought that was a steal. And turns out my hunch was right because it came back 9.6, off-white pages. And this book goes for about $320. So not too bad. Moving into the double digits, just at the border between the Silver and the Bronze Age, we're dealing with Amazing Spider-Man 92. This was from a local collector in Toronto. He was the original owner of this book, and he kept it in pretty good shape. I purchased this book off of him for $80. I thought this book was an 8.5. So let's take a look. .9, white pages. Excellent book, above expectations. This book, the fair market value is about $320. So not bad. The next book is Amazing Spider-Man 82, classic Electro cover. I got this book from a secondhand store in Hamilton. They advertised some books online. I was there the next day. They had a ton of books to look through. I ended up only buying 2, both of which I sent down to be graded. This book I paid $125 for, and I thought it was good for a 9.0. 9.2 white pages. Great looking book. Haggled this guy down. I think he was trying to sell it for $200, so felt good about that score. This book's fair market value is about $340. The next book's a bit of a key, Amazing Spider-Man 78. This is the first appearance of the Prowler. This is also from the collector from London. This book I bought for $80. I thought it was good for a 6.0. A little lower than I usually go for, but for keys, if you're getting a deal, just get them. They can move so easily. .7, off-white to white pages. Great cover. Minor trivia. The cover was done by John Romita Sr., and as a young child before he became an artist, John Romita Jr. Was credited in this book for, I don't know if it was the costume or the inspiration or the name for the antagonist, the Prowler. This book goes for about $500 at this grade, so not bad. Moving on to Amazing Spider-Man 77. I picked this book up online on a Facebook auction. I thought I got a steal for this book. This book I bought for $60. I probably would have paid more, but there wasn't as much competition as I thought there would be for such a great looking book. I thought this book was about an 8.5. So let's see what we get. 8.5 white pages. Great cover. Not a particularly big book. In this stretch, there's not a lot of keys, but the book's from 1969, so this is firmly in the Silver Age. The next book is Amazing Spider-Man 69. This is from the collector in London again. I thought this book was an 8. I paid $80 for it. It's a classic Kingpin cover. Early Kingpin appearances are really, really hot. So let's see what we got. I really misjudged this book because it came back 9.0, off-white to white pages. Fabulous cover. The fair market value for this book is just north of $600, so not too bad. The next book is Amazing Spider-Man 64. This was from the same trip to that second-hand store in London. This book I paid $100 for. I thought it was about a 9.0. Looking forward to seeing what we get here. 9.2, off-white to white pages. Nice vulture cover. Really detailed cityscape background. Just screams like John Romita. And this book is about $500 street value. So next book is Amazing Spider-Man 54. This was an online auction. I was so happy with winning this book. My final bid was $128, and I think I beat out the next guy by exactly like $1, which is, you know, the holy grail of winning an online auction. This book presented really well. I thought it had a shot at a 9.0. So let's see what we get. $9.2, off-white to white pages. Yeah, the fair market value for this book over the last calendar year is $600. Um, so this is turning out to be a great day. So now we're entering the elite sub 50 books. The grades here you see are probably going to drop quite a bit. It's really hard to get high grade books in this period of time. So we're going to do Amazing Spider-Man 49. I bought this. Where did I get this book? I bought this online like 2 years ago, and I thought it was good for a 6.5. I paid $100 for it. At the time, I thought I might have overpaid for it, so I really need a nice grade here. So let's see what we got. 7.0, off-white pages. That's pretty good. I generally am looking for 6 or better in this era, so this is a nice one to have. The fair market value for this book is about $260. It's not a big book by any means, but we did fairly well. The next book is Amazing Spider-Man 48. I thought this book was good for a 7.0. I don't have a lot of experience with trimmed comic books, but I thought there was a chance that this book could be trimmed. I decided to send it in anyway, because it would be a weird choice for a book to send to trim. So I don't know. I paid $82 for this book. So it's the first appearance of the second Vulture, Blackie Drago. Not trimmed, 7.5, off-white pages. The fair market value for this book is $575, so pretty good. Next book is Amazing Spider-Man 47, classic Kraven the Hunter cover. I won this in a Facebook auction, paid $130 for it, probably would have paid a little bit more. I've wanted this book for a while, it's a great cover. I thought this book was good for a 6.5. 6.5, off-white pages. Exactly what I was expecting. I got exactly what I paid for. The fair market value for this book is about $280. I actually thought the value would be a little bit higher because there's a Kraven the Hunter movie in the works, but just happy to have it. So the next book is Amazing Spider-Man 44. It's the second appearance of the Lizard. A lot of people like this cover. I actually think it's not that interesting a cover. I bought this from the collector in London. I paid $100 for it, and I think the book is good for a 6.5. 7.5, off-white to white pages. That's a big jump. And this book, its fair market value is about $620. And so we're entering the last 5 books. This is the last book of the John Romita era. This is Amazing Spider-Man 43. Second appearance and origin of the Rhino. First full appearance of Mary Jane. Great cover. I again purchased this book from the collector in London. I paid $125 for it. I think it's good for a 6. Let's see. $7.0, off-white to white pages. That is really good. When I had this book raw, there was like a diagonal crease that ran along the rhino's body, and after the clean and press, I would have to have known that was there. I can barely see it. So this is a huge jump, much higher than I expected. The fair market value for this book is 570 Canadian. So now we're moving into the Steve Ditko era of books. Steve Ditko was one of the co-creators and original artist of Spider-Man. This is Amazing Spider-Man 37. I know I paid too much for this book. It's the first appearance of Norman Osborn. I thought this book was going to be huge. I paid $515 for it. If I could do it again, I wouldn't have bid on it. It was a mistake. I did it like 2 years ago. I need a big grade to get my money back here. I think it's a 7.0. Let's see how we did. Yeah, I got hurt here. This is 6.0 off-white pages. Yeah, it'll take a while before this book like appreciates enough to like pay for itself. But as for right now, it's a huge hit to the wallet. Fair market value for this book is $425. Here's hoping that Willem Dafoe reprises his role as Norman Osborn in the upcoming movies, and we can get a quick jolt of energy into this book. That's too bad. I'm still happy to have it in my collection. The next two books were purchased from a nice guy in the middle of nowhere. Me and my dad drove for like a couple of hours to buy a huge stack of books. This is Amazing Spider-Man 29. I paid $100 for it. I think this book is good for a 7. I almost didn't buy it because it had a severe miswrap, and at the time I thought that might have meant the book would have been trimmed. I know better now, and I'm glad I bought it. Let's see what the grade is. .5 off-white pages. Great cover. I think one of Steve Ditko's top 5 covers. Second appearance of the Scorpion. The fair market value for this book is about $440. Like I said, this next book, Amazing Spider-Man 25, was purchased with the 29. This book is going to range between 5 and 5.5. I can't really figure out which way it's going to go. I'm hoping with the clean and press it'll hit the 5.5. I paid $225 for this book. It's kind of a key. It's the first cameo of Mary Jane. It's the first appearance of Spencer Smythe. It's the first appearance of the Spider Slayers. So let's take a look. And we got there, 5.5 off-white pages. Great cover. Even still looking at this book, it could have gone either way between 5 and 5.5. It has a problematic spine, but I'm not complaining. The fair market value for this book is just south of $500. And the final book, I purchased this from the collector in London as well. I paid a lot for this book. This is Amazing Spider-Man 21. It's not a key. I paid $400 for it, and I think this book is a 6.5, and I need a 6.5 to break even with this book. And I did my due diligence. I made sure that it had the pinout before I bought it. It's quite common in this book to have the pinout pulled out. So let's see how we did. And And this is a nice finale because it's a 7.0 off-white to white pages. Gorgeous cover. Just a fabulous dynamic cover. Whenever Ditko communicated movement on his covers, he always did well. And I love the acrobatic Spider-Man covers. This book's fair market value is $600. I think there were 3 kind of misses in this batch, but I think the 22 hits more than made up for it. I'm expecting another shipment in the next couple of months, so I'll be doing another video. Thanks for watching.